Mangia.tv. Anthony, Martorina. See, you know, you have when you meet an Italian, you never know, being an Irishman, black Irish, you know, where are they going to put it? So say it again. Martorina.
That's perfect.
Martorina. See, I can do that.
He said Italian too, but it's really Sicilian.
Sicilian. You know, I got that in the pregame too. Sicilian.
It's right up there. It's right up there on the big board. Yeah.
It's right on my notes. You notice?
Yeah.
All of my notes and all that space in the middle.
Yeah.
See how succinct it is?
It is.
Yeah. Look at that. All right, Anthony, or at Anthony on Twitter.
Which that's kind of my nickname, Anthony.
Anthony.
That's where you can see everyone's like, that's a great handle.
At Anthony. I love the way he does it. It's KNEEE at ANT_KNEEE at Anthony. And I guess I met you on Twitter. We followed each other, and I know right away when what somebody's tweeting, what they're favoriting, and right away you get a feel for somebody. And I was like, man, someday I'm going to meet this Anthony because he's right up my alley and he's right up Mangia.tv's spirit.
So I hate to tell you this, but we actually met a long time ago.
Get out of here.
We were at the St. Charles Pheasant Run Wine.
That's right.
My wife was with me, and we were over by your booth, and we loved you guys, and we hung out, and we talked.
I forgot all about that. So, that is unbelievable. Yeah, we were humping shrimp.
Oh, they were so good.
Right? We were humping shrimp, and
that was like, what is that, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, and that was part of the process of getting stung by the food bug and thinking, wow, I can make a living doing this.
And that's so funny that 4 or 5 years later, here we are. I'm on your show.
That is unbelievable, and I never even. You're blowing me away with facts.
That's okay.
That's unbelievable.
I couldn't give away everything in the pre-show.
I was rock, paper, scissoring at that one. Rock, paper, scissoring people for free rub. I was killing it too, man. I think I was undie.
It was a lot of fun. That was so much fun. My wife and I had so much fun at your booth. You guys were definitely rocking it on that floor among all the other food vendors. You really were a lot of fun, and people just wanted to hang out with you. That's why we stayed with you.
That's what we like to have a party. That's what we do at Mangia TV. All right, so tell me, Andy, you are not a foodie. Well, let me rephrase that. He's Sicilian. I'm Irish. He grew up with food. All right, he grew up with food, but that's not what you did for the first part of your professional life.
My first 18 years, I was an editor and a producer, and I also tested software for the film industry. So I worked for companies like Pinnacle Systems and Avid, and actually worked as their spokesperson. And they flew me all over the world. And I got to present film software to producers, editors. I would spend time in New York with all of the editors of all the magazines trying to secure magazine articles. But along the way, I ate good food at home, but I ate Sicilian food, Once I hit the road, and I'm in Beijing, and they're like, oh, eat this. All the Americans like it. And I'm like, what is it? And they're like, it swims in the water. And I'm like, okay. And I took a bite. This is a true story. I took a bite, and they went, I go, you got to help me out. And they're like, well, it's like a fish. I go, that would be swims in the water. And then they're like, oh, you can see through it. And I went, jellyfish? And so I ate jellyfish.
Really?
Yes. I did not like it. It was very...
The jellyfish needed a little rub.
I'm telling you right now, that probably would have made it taste excellent. We got to get those to Beijing.
Right to the jellyfish.
Right on the jellyfish. So at that point, I started learning that different cultures have different types of food, and you have to try it. You can't just say no. So traveling around the world, I started tasting a lot of food, and then I'd be sitting on airplanes, and you know what I'd do? I would write reviews, and I'd start posting reviews online. And I have about 2,000 reviews online of restaurants, hotels, boat tours, anything that I did, I started to write about.
All right. Did you write about the Pheasant Run?
I did write about the Pheasant Run. I'm going to have to go dig that review up.
We got to dig that review up.
Because
if I had a staff, cameraman. I don't have a cameraman.
we could look that up. Honestly, I wrote a review for it. You're right.
All right, so you got all this world travel, and you start writing reviews, and people start noticing you.
People start noticing me, like yourself. I'm also a moderator for Food Travelist. So Sue and Diana, they recognized my post because I would join their Twitter chat. It's every Wednesday, and
that's hashtag Food Travel Chat.
Hashtag Food Travel Chat. Join us every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, and we're always talking about food and travel. And so they approached me and they said, "How would you like to be a moderator?" And I'm like, "Okay, there's moderators on Twitter." I had no idea what that was. So I said, "Sure, I'd love to be." And that was a really great learning experience. It was so much fun to not only be able to answer the questions, but then to interact with other people too. So people will write me afterwards and say, "Hey, I saw you there. We're coming to Chicago. Give me a list of restaurants."
Right.
And this happens all the time. I'm always setting up itineraries for people when they're coming into town because they want to go out to the great places.
Right. That sounds like a business too.
I know. I should be. I know. Maybe you should be my manager. I need you as a manager.
Concierge.
And then another fun thing too, Joanne McCartney. She started this thing called Culinary Fight Club.
Right.
And she called me and said, "How would you like to be a judge, a food judge?" And I went, "Okay, sure. I write reviews. I can judge food."
Right.
And so I went out. I was a culinary judge, and I had a blast. And after that event, usually they bring in a different judge every month for this event. She comes up to me at the end of the night. She said, "You were really good on the microphone." She goes, "How would you like to be a permanent judge?" And I went, "I can come back next month?" And I was like, "This is great." So I started coming back as a judge. Now my role has expanded where I'm the cheffery. So
hashtag that.
Hashtag cheffery. That is my title now. Because, you and I were talking earlier. Food has become such a sport.
Right.
So at the Culinary Fight Club, we have 3 chefs come in. Okay. And these chefs will have to prepare. So coming up next week on Thursday.
Is it grilled cheese?
It's grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese is coming up.
I saw that. I'm like, oh.
Are you in town?
I am
next
in town
Thursday?
next Thursday.
Are you busy? I'm kind of asking him out on a date right now for grilled cheese. So we'll have to get back to you. I think he's going to let me down easy.
I am definitely available next week.
Well, we'd love for you to come out.
Right.
And again, you can buy tickets at culinaryfightclub.com.
Okay.
That is our website. And it's a lot of fun. So people come out, and it's a sport. And so we have 3 chefs, and they're going to make grilled cheese. And they have a pantry. And they can run to that pantry. They got 30 seconds to grab their ingredients. And then
That's it? Yeah. 30 seconds?
We used to give them 60 seconds.
That's too long.
It was too long.
Yeah.
It was too long. And so now the chefs are like, 30 seconds. And we're like, yeah, go for it. It makes it more exciting. That is my favorite part of the whole event because they can see the table of food. They're jockeying for position. And they have to have whatever's in their hands. They can't use containers. So they have to get creative.
And they're making 1 grilled cheese?
They're making 5 plates of grilled cheese and then 100 samples for the audience.
And they got to grab that material in 30 seconds?
Yes, they got to grab it in 30 seconds.
Who's good with math? Because right away you need the bread.
Well, and then here's the thing too. Each chef is allowed to bring 3 of their own secret ingredients.
Okay.
So they kind of can have an idea of what they're going to build. So they have 60 minutes to cook for the audience, and then the judges will taste the food, and they will pick a winner. That winner gets qualified for the World Food Championships.
Wow.
So we're a qualifying round for that. Top chef takes home $300,000. If that isn't a sport, I don't know.
You have my attention.
Oh, it is. Wade 14 is one of our regular judges now. He is the 2-time world burger champion. This guy makes a mean burger.
Is he a skinny guy?
You know what? Wade's not fat. He's probably watching this right now. But I wouldn't say Wade is like wafer thin. He's a Chicago guy.
Right, exactly.
Burgers,
you got to be able to withstand the wind when you're on an L platform.
No,
you're going to get blown away.
He's not fat. He's an executive chef. He's an executive chef for I guess I can say Aramark. And he knows how to make food that people like.
Right.
But when you're competing, you can't be cooking for yourself. You're cooking for other people.
Absolutely.
My uncle was a professional chef in California. And he told me, he said, you can make healthy food. No one's going to come. He goes, you got to put the butter in there. You got to put the olive oil.
Yeah, it's got to be Sunday dinner.
Fattening and for people to want to come eat it. And so that's how I got involved with the Culinary Fight Club. As the cheffery, I do get to taste the food. I'm a tiebreaker. In
All
case
right.
the judges lock up, I will be the one that comes in and goes,
I'd be that tiebreaker guy that's like, all right, give me 17 more minutes. Hold on.
The last event, we did Bougie Burger. And the first burger we had was the executive chef from Reinhardt. And he put foie gras into the middle of the patty.
Really?
Yes, and then he put truffles on top of the bun. And that was the first burger, and I bit into it. And, you've got 2 more burgers coming. And I put it down, and they took it away. And it was, the first one was the best one, just taste-wise.
Right.
And I was like crying. I'm like, bring back the rest of my burger.
Yeah, where are you going with that? Hey.
The other burgers were good too. They were amazing. But it's like you never know. Is it going to be the first one, the middle one, or the last one? And
Did you have something to cleanse your palate? A nice Pinot Gris? Or,
here's the best thing is
Pinot Noir? What?
If you come to our event, we have 2 hours of a hosted bar. Sam Adams is our beer sponsor.
Okay.
And Handcrafted is our wine sponsor. I chose to go with an Oktoberfest, Sam Adams, to cleanse my palate.
Right. Perfect. Yeah.
And so people who come to the event, there's 2 hours of bar with your ticket price. Tickets are $30 to $40, depending on if you want to actually taste the food. If you go with the $40 ticket, you can taste it. The audience gets to taste it. So then there's an audience winner too. And
Really?
I always like to see that. Did the judges get it right?
Right, exactly.
Did the audience? And most of the times, the audience and the judges are dead on.
Really?
They both agree. But every once in a while, the audience likes a dish more, and the judges like a dish, and that blows my mind.
Right.
But
so it's next Thursday?
Next Thursday.
And where's it at?
It's at the Marriott Medical District over on, that's like Ashland.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. So what's nice is they have a beautiful outdoor beer garden. So the chefs will be cooking outside. So you can go inside, and there's all windows there, so the bar's on the inside. So you have both areas.
Right.
You can walk right up to the chefs, and you can see what they're doing.
Right.
You can give them a hard time.
They're generally nice people unless you're trying to sell them rub. Then they have secret recipes of their own.
Maybe we could throw a couple of your rubs on the pantry table, see if anyone grabs it for the grilled cheese.
All right.
So
tell me about, this is not just a fight challenge. There's a charitable portion to this that's obviously so important.
So what's amazing is I didn't even know about the charity when I came on board. So proceeds from this event go towards a charity called Fight2Feed. Fight2Feed.org. You can go and check that out.
And that's at Fight2Feed, FIGHT,
on Twitter.
the number 2, FEED on Twitter, at Fight2Feed. Follow them.
Yes, follow us on Twitter. And so what we do is we go out on missions and we feed people. The 1-year anniversary is coming up pretty soon. It's probably only about 7 days away. We made breakfast burritos, and we did fresh fruit and water, and we went out and fed 1,002 hungry people.
That's a high five worthy high five.
And
that's awesome, man.
And it was so amazing, that first event, because we got up at like 4 in the morning. The Hard Rock Cafe let us use their kitchen and their chefs, which was amazing. Some of these poor guys, because we did it on a Monday morning, these guys were working from Sunday, and they just stayed because the bars close at 2.
Right.
And they just stayed and started chopping potatoes for us and stuff. And it was like these guys were there all night. So, hats off to some of our sponsors, some of our restaurants that work with us.
That is awesome.
That was such a moving moment because, we were finding people living under the bridge at Montrose and Lawrence, and and they're hungry, and it's cold, and it's October, and it was a really cold day that day, and you really start to get connected to these people, and our whole motto is, it's not necessarily that people who are homeless, people are hungry, our main goal is the more money we raise, we want to buy a food truck.
Okay.
So we want to be mobile. If we could have that food truck out there every day making food, and we pull up to an area, if you were hungry that day, you could come up and get some food. It doesn't matter if you're homeless. There are people that are sitting at home and they have a family and they're deciding, do we pay the bills or do I feed the kids?
Right.
And that's a big thing. So there's people who have homes that are hungry, and they have to make that decision every day. And that's what's so nice about this. I didn't even know that Fight2Feed existed. It made me fall in love with Culinary Fight Club even more.
Absolutely.
So everybody that works on it, we donate our time. no one gets a salary at
Right.
all. So I end up doing the marketing for Culinary Fight Club and Fight2Feed, and it's just really rewarding. My daughter and wife are involved with me too. We went out and fed people on Valentine's Day, and I was feeding people chicken soup. I found a place called Lower Michigan Avenue. Do you know that exists?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I do.
it's dark. You
Yes.
can't even see your hand in front of your face.
Right, it is.
And feeding people soup, and you know what they started asking me? Do you have socks? You have any socks?
Really?
And I was like, no, I got hot soup. I wanted to give them my socks, but
Right.
I knew I was going around feeding people, and I was like, if I give away my socks, then I'm only helping one person.
Right.
So we did a online campaign, and we raised money, and we just can't go out and buy cotton socks. You got to buy wool.
Right.
So we did all of our research because wool pulls the water away from
Absolutely.
the skin. So people are like, why are the socks so expensive? Because they're wool.
Yeah, because they're going to work.
They're going to work.
Absolutely.
And so, taking my daughter to school, in March, it was cold. We saw these two, homeless guys rolled my window down. And I said, hey, how your feet feel? And they're like, not good, really cold. And I handed them both each a pair of wool socks. Rolled up the window. They're like, thank you, shook hands, drove away. And my little girl, she's in the back seat. She goes, Dad, you just made my day. And I said, no. I go, we made their day.
Right.
That we actually stopped to care, to take a time out of our life on the way to school to just help somebody else.
Right.
And I think if and there's people that do it. I'm more aware now. I just the other day, I saw a girl come out of Arby's with a bag, and there was a homeless guy sitting outside of Arby's, handed him the bag, and just
walked on her way.
She wasn't going to Arby's to eat. She didn't talk to him. She just went in and
Right.
got him food. And that's another thing I've noticed too. So I start watching people's mannerisms. So when it's really cold outside and I feed somebody, and I walk away and I turn around, they pack up their stuff and leave off the street corner. And in my mind, I know they were hungry.
Right.
They just weren't begging for money.
Right.
They wanted food. They had food.
And
now let's go find shelter.
Right. Well, that's such a big problem. So many people in the city, obviously, in need, and that's what it takes is a groundswell of people like yourself and those type of events to make a change. And we all got to get involved to do it. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. What else is on the agenda for Anthony in the future? I mean, you said you traveled a lot. Do you have any desire to be this food guy on the road in the future?
I would love to be a food guy on the road. It would be amazing to be on a show, where you got to judge food or even go around and visit. I love people. I
Right.
love meeting people. I love talking to people, and it would just be so amazing to hang out with a chef. And I do that now. When I go to a restaurant,
Right.
there's no camera crew following me. I go into the kitchen and I talk to the chef.
Yeah, it's so nice to do that.
And
isn't it?
chefs love that. And
Right.
I'll be like, hey, there was white pepper in there, and they'll be like, how'd you know that? And I go, I tasted it. And they go, no one knows that ingredient, And that's just so much fun. My wife is always telling me to dissect it. And then my wife and I do some fun things too, where we'll go out to a restaurant, we'll have a dish, and we'll go home and try
to redo it.
Try to redo it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it tastes better.
And we're like, now he's just bragging. Sometimes it tastes better.
And you know what? We're like, why would we go back?
These Sicilians,
and then we perfect it.
Perfect it,
Take it up
exactly.
another notch.
But I wanted to share with you that I think I qualify for a culinary fight club. And this, we talk about the history of Mangia TV and the energy of just loving food, the family that I came from. But one of the things that I did in college, we routinely did, was after the bars would close, we'd come home and have an omelet cook-off.
Nice.
Routinely. Now, I'm not sure, there'd have to be a lot of rules for this one. I mean, it has to happen between 2 and 3 in the morning. Whole different, we're going to have a different segment that we're pitching this one to. But there is that fun of creating in the kitchen and a competitive basis to help feed people. That's just awesome, man.
So let's talk about your omelet. I want to know about like did you win, and what was your winning
You know what?
omelet?
Absolutely. The key was similar to, it's just funny, it's coming to me now, similar to the chef's challenge. We would say, all right, you got 1 minute, 1 minute in the fridge to pull out. And the whole thing had to be on the plate. In college at 2 a.m, you're not waiting until 3 to eat an omelet.
Yeah.
So half the judging was speed and half the judging was taste. But you can't go wrong. I tell you what, you can't go wrong in omelets is leftovers.
Yeah, you know what?
Leftovers. There's so many
Taco
great.
meat, chili.
Absolutely. You get that burger that's in the fridge. Anything. Grab anything. Make
You
it.
could chop up that burger, put some fresh vegetables, cheese on there.
That's what I would do. I would
sounds-
find the leftovers and go, right, all these other guys are trying to cook sausage. I'm like, that's too long, man.
No, yeah,
You're going to lose on the time.
Being Sicilian, you always go for the leftovers. I mean, that's, there's this dish that we make in Sicily. It's called schiacci. Try to Google it. You won't find it. And basically all you do is you make this bread dough and you put one of them has broccoli, sausage, sun-dried tomatoes, garlic. You wrap it up and you cook it in the oven. And then you take it out of the wood-burning oven, you slice it up, and it's so good.
You hit it with a little gravy, little red sauce.
There's no red sauce on that one. You do a little egg wash on the top, so the top's nice when it bakes in the oven. There is one with red sauce and white onion. I mean, they've got these down. This is what you make: red sauce, white onion, and then there's a bunch of different ones. But usually, it's most of those leftovers are thrown in there. And then my other favorite one is sausage, ricotta, and parsley.
Really, just into the bread.
Into the bread. And so the broccoli one's done more like a pie. The ricotta with the sausage and parsley, it's actually rolled like 3 times.
See?
And so it's real long.
They said that we should do more cooking on a cooking vamp, but we're cooking right now.
We are.
We're visuals. You got that?
You got it?
He had the dough,
And
he filled it, and he rolled it. What else do we got to do?
We don't have to do it.
We don't have to. Come on. You know how to roll something or you don't.
Use your mind.
I love that.
We're cooking metaphorically.
Absolutely. That's my cooking show. We said early on, if I got to show you how to chop an onion, turn the channel. I cannot have any footage of an onion chop.
How do you chop an onion?
Yeah, that B-roll has got to, all the B-roll of onion chopping's got to go.
That's so funny.
All right, now tell me, we were talking earlier, Anthony, Sicilian, has learned cheese sauce. He's going to share us a quick little cheese sauce thing here.
I have been perfecting my cheese sauce. It's real simple, and you can do any quota of this. If you're just doing like a simple nacho plate and you just want like a nice cheese sauce, you do a tablespoon of butter. Go unsalted. You don't need that in there. It's bad for your health. You need a teaspoon. So if you do a tablespoon of butter, do a tablespoon of flour. So you get it nicely melted, not too high, and then you sprinkle it in and you whisk it. So see, look, I'm cooking right now. See? So you're whisking it. Look at, doesn't that look nice?
Yeah.
See how it's all?
Oh, beautiful.
And then,
I'm actually starting to smell that butter.
It smells good. It's butter.
Yeah.
And then basically you're going to pour a little milk in there, just a little bit to start out with, and then you're going to grate your cheese in there.
So how many tablespoons of each? It gets depends on.
I'm Sicilian now. My grandma didn't measure anything, and I'm starting to get like that.
Yeah.
So I at least got you on the butter and the flour. Just
so equal portions, and then thinning with milk.
And then milk. And then when you grate the cheese in there, if you need to, you can bring a little more milk in there just to get a little, you want it to be a cheese sauce.
Right.
You want it to be a little runny, so when you put it over the top of your nachos.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, like today I had fun with it. See, I made it today too. Today I made fun of it. And if you want to look at the nachos, if you go to @AnthonyMartorina, my Instagram, there's a picture of it. It's the second picture up there. You'll see the nachos. I sent it to my wife in LA last week, and she said, "Where'd you go out to eat?" I said, "No, this is happening in the house right now." She's like, "You make nachos in the house?" I'm like, "Yes, I made nachos." And so you can then flavor the cheese sauce. So I put black pepper, garlic powder, and chipotle because I wanted to have a little kick. And now here's the best thing: the cheese. My dad is in from Sicily, so he always brings a suitcase of cheese. Okay, and this is like
the dog's definitely at the airport. We're on that suitcase.
You know what's so funny? The dogs at the airport. You know what they're always looking for? When you land from Italy, they always give you this ham sandwich. That when you land, and the beagle loves the ham sandwich, and I'm telling you, I've been busted so many times. The beagle has a look on his face, and the TSA lady goes, "Ham sandwich," and I go, oh, "Yes." My daughter was sleeping. I'm so sorry. It's always the ham sandwich. That beagle loves the ham sandwich. Never smells the cheese. So
you brought the cheese. Your father brought cheese in?
Yes, you can bring cheese in because it's
Okay.
not meat, you know.
But he brought just to be fair and honest, he brought a suitcase of cheese in.
He brings a suitcase kind of a cheese in, yeah. So yeah,
That's-
and so the cheese sauce I made was this homemade provolone from one of my cousin's farms, and it just tastes so good. So I'm gonna be upset when I run out of it. My cheese sauce.
That's farm to table.
That's farm to airport to my table. So a couple months ago, a friend of mine, Italian guys from Sicily, have a restaurant here in Chicago, and I brought him a chunk of cheese, and he looked at me. He said, "How did you get this? Who's your importer?" And it's one of my cousins. His name is Giovanni. And I asked my dad. I said, "And the cheese is phenomenal. I've never had a cheese like it." And he's got all these awards. It looks like the Stanley Cup in his barn. Okay. And I go, "What's the cheese?" And my dad goes, "It's Giovanni's cheese." And I'm like, it's got to have a name. It just can't be a Giovanni's cheese. And so I brought him this chunk of cheese, and he kept looking at me going, "Who's your importer?" I go, "My dad's suitcase." He goes, I need to contact him. I go, "My dad's suitcase." And he goes, he was such in a zone because he was so excited to have this chunk of cheese. And he just couldn't hear me saying, "It came in my dad's suitcase." You have one chunk.
That's
enjoy
it. Enjoy it.
You know. So
do not plate it and sell it. Enjoy it yourself.
No, he definitely was not. He was so happy to have that chunk of cheese and just couldn't figure out how it ended up in Chicago. You know, because he knew. And that's what's amazing is you know, I've got this cousin who has this farm.
Another business, Anthony.
I know.
See, I'm going to be his manager before the end of the night. He's got concierge service and now cheese importer.
Cheese importer. I know.
Right.
I should import that. But here's where, you know, like when I was a little kid, you'd go to the cousin's farm and there was one pot sitting in the middle of the barn with wood underneath. And
Really?
they'd boil the milk. They'd milk the cows at 6 a.m. They'd boil it, and then they would skim the ricotta right off the top. And you eat it hot. So
Really?
you cut up fresh bread in there, and you eat it hot at like 6 in the morning.
Oh.
And there's nothing like it in the world.
And you better be doing farm work or you're going to be 500 pounds pretty quick.
I
But
know.
that's what, you know, I'm back on the farm for a month, and I got to tell you, you know what's on the farm? Work. That's what's on the farm. It actually means that. If you look it up in the dictionary, farm, the meaning is work. All right?
It's true.
It is true. And that's why, you know, you should support your local farmer because there ain't nobody working harder than them.
You know, and my dad's retired now, and so he has the family farm in Sicily. And so we spent 2 weeks there this summer, and it was so much fun for my little girl. She'll be 9 next month. And, you know, I think it's the first time my daughter went through a field and was picking tomatoes. She had a basket, and she was picking tomatoes, and she was like, "Can I eat them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there was no such thing as organic in Italy.
That's what it was.
It's what you grow."
Right.
And there's no pesticides. And I said, "Yeah, go right ahead. Just wipe the dirt off and pop it in your mouth." You know, and so she was eating little cherry tomatoes. You know, we were eating figs, pears, peaches, you know, parsley, green beans, all out of my dad's field, you know,
Right.
like right there. And it was just so much fun for me to see her get that experience.
Right.
You know, and then my dad, you know, I told him, I go, my grandfather used to have the truck, and I used to ride with him in Sicily to go to the marketplace. I said, "We got to get the truck back.
Right.
You know, let's get the truck back." But my dad he's such a nice guy. He like gives them to all the friends and family. You know,
Right.
he'll drop off a bushel of tomatoes.
All right.
See,
I
you gotta
got
go to Sicily.
to move to Sicily now.
I know. There's plenty of rooms at the farm. There's like 6 rooms at the farmhouse. So
All right. We have another business.
I know.
Travel to Sicily, farm to table in Sicily. Yeah, you know, by the end of this thing, we're going to have a conglomerate.
It's a Mangia TV empire.
That is just fantastic. Well, I'm so thrilled that I had met you before and I didn't know it, and now I remember. I absolutely remember now meeting you and actually going to the booth and saying to my brother, "See, this guy's a food blogger. He likes what we're doing."
Yeah.
You know?
See, maybe I was their Kickstart.
Yeah, you were our Kickstarter. I think we got to keep doing this. Yeah, so that's just fantastic. Well, Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me out.
For being here. And follow him on Twitter. Obviously, he's got a world of knowledge if you're traveling. Tune in on their food travel chat. That's on Wednesday nights, right?
Wednesday nights, 7 p.m.
A week from Thursday is the Chef Challenge.
Culinary Fight Club.
Culinary Fight Club.
Yes.
First rule of Culinary Fight Club,
we talk about it.
We talk about Culinary Fight Club.
We're raising money for charity.
And we're going to help feed people.
With Fight2Feed.
Fight2Feed.
Fight number 2, feed.
All right. All right, well, that's what I got this week. That's all I got. I say that all the time. Listen, do yourself a favor and cook somebody a meal.
We're still alive.
Still alive.
I'm